Hello my dear students, welcome to the class of Social Science. In today's class, we will discuss about the history third chapter, that is the impact of British rule in India. Right? After conquering almost all the places of North India, South India, eastern part of India, western part of India, how British consolidated their power in India and what is the impact of their rule in India, we have to discuss in this chapter. Okay, dear students, in the beginning, East India Company fulfilled its commercial needs. It means here British governments. Okay, East India Company in the beginning fulfilled all British governments' commercial needs, and it continued trade in India as a trading company, right? And British observed the fractured political landscape of India, and they thought to exploit in that situation. Okay, they thought to exploit in that situation in favor of their political consolidation. Okay, they thought that numerous princely states are scattered here and there, and they are fighting each other, and that situation was nicely utilized in favor of British for their political consolidation, right? And they implemented the policy to consolidate the princely states of India under British Empire, and to consolidate that princely states under one British Empire, they introduced the policy that is divide and rule policy. Okay, British introduced divide and rule policy. They tried to divide the Indians. They tried to break the unity among the Indian native rulers, and they made Indian native rulers alone, and easily they tried to capture one by one princely states by introducing their cunning rules like subsidiary alliance, doctrine of lapse, etc., etc. Okay, and after that, to get complete domination in India, to get complete domination over the Indian princely states, they followed two methods, that is war and negotiations. These two methods they followed to get complete domination. To get complete domination over all the princely states of India, they used these two methods, war and negotiations. Over some princely states they conducted war and forcibly they joined that states with British Empire, and over few princely states with their rulers they did the negotiations and they merged that princely states with British Empire. Okay, next, after getting Indian under control, after getting India under their control, they thought of strengthening their hold in India permanently. Okay, after getting India under their control through war and negotiations, what Britishers did? They start to strengthening their hold in India permanently, right? For that, they use the policy divide and rule. Okay, and during that time, India was divided and scattered into various kingdoms under one nation concept. Okay, British tried to consolidate all the scattered kingdoms under one nation concept, and whole India was integrated. The scattered Indian princely states integrated by the British under one administration and political structure. Right? Under one administration and political structure, they integrated. Right? British integrated princely states through their policy, that is one administration and political structure. Okay. Next, they control all the areas of services like agriculture, education, judiciary, land tax, trade activities, and all the fields of activities were controlled by British or regulated by the British through various laws and administrative system. They brought various laws in India and they introduced various administrative systems in India. The main reason behind that is to establish control or to regulate all the system, okay, of activities, agriculture, education, trade, land tax, and judiciary, etc., came fully under the control of British. Next, new structure to India they decided to give. British decided to give new structure to India, right? And they implemented all these measures, right? To give new structure to India, they introduced all these measures and they didn't forget to protect their political interest, right? They gave new structure to India and at the same time they did not neglect their financial interest. Okay, they protected their financial field also, right? And British East India Company implemented various administrative experiments in India, right? British East India Company introduced various administrative experiments in India. For that reason is to introduce new order in India. To introduce new order in India, British East India Company introduced various administrative experiments. That experiments which introduced by British East India Company, we have to discuss now one by one in detail. Okay. First and the most important under that, administrative and judicial service. Administrative and judicial service. Okay. First, under that, civil services. First, we have to discuss about civil services. The system of civil services introduced by Lord Cornwallis in India. Students, who introduced the system of civil services in India? Lord Cornwallis, British officer. Lord Cornwallis introduced the system of civil services, right? And the system of appointing the employees for the purpose of trade was done by East India Company from the beginning. Okay, there was a system of appointing the employees for trade, and that appointments are done by East India Company in the beginning, and along with East Okay, company appoints some individuals for the purpose of trade, and it also permits private people or private workers to trade. So because of that reason, employers made money. Employers made money, and they became corrupt by following illegal means. Right? East India Company officials or employers and also private workers, they made money and they became corrupt through illegal means. To control this, in the year of 1773, Government of England introduced Regulating Act in India. Right? In the year of 1773, England government or British government introduced Regulating Act in India. Okay, Regulating Act was introduced by British government in India, and as the name indicates, regulate means its meaning is to enforce control. Okay, to enforce control over whom? To enforce control over Indians. To enforce control over Indians, British introduced Regulating Act in the year of 1773, and in 1800 AD, in the year of 1800 AD, Lord Cornwallis started Fort William College in Calcutta. Lord Cornwallis started Fort William College at Calcutta. Behind this, the intention of the Lord Cornwallis is for benefiting the people who are aspiring to join civil services, who are interested to join civil services. Okay, for that people to provide training and to conduct all the required procedures. Fort William College was founded by Lord Cornwallis at Calcutta in the year of 1880. Right? But this initiation did not get support by the East India Company or directors of East India Company. Right? The plan done by Lord Cornwallis was not supported by directors of East India Company. So because of that reason, all the appointments till 1853, all appointments for the civil service field in India was done by the directors of British government. Okay, the directors only done the appointments in India till 1853 because the directors of East India Company not supported the college founded by Lord Cornwallis. And 1853 onwards, all the appointments are done through conducting competitive examination. 1853 onwards, all appointments for civil service field done through conducting competitive exams. Right? How the governments are conducting now competitive examination, I mean CET, to fill the vacancies. Right? That was first started in India in the year of 1853, and the system of conducting competitive examination for the selection of candidates for civil service introduced in India by British. Okay, you have to remember. And even today, our central government and state government following the method of appointing the candidates for the field of civil service through conducting competitive examinations, right? And British started competitive examinations 1853 onwards to appoint individuals or candidates for civil service, but it was not benefited for the Indians much, right? Indians did not get more benefit by that. And British started or continued their suspecting efficiency of the Indians. Since many years, they suspected the efficiency of the Indians, and even after 1853 onwards, they continued the same. They continued suspecting the efficiency of the Indians. And the British officer Lord Cornwallis himself, he said that, or he argued that all the native Hindustans are, according to Lord Cornwallis, all the natives of Hindustans are completely corrupt. All the natives of Hindustan are completely corrupt. This is the opinion of Lord Cornwallis. Okay, it is the opinion of Lord Cornwallis, and which resulted lower grade jobs to the Indians in the civil service field. Okay, in India, till the British rule, Indians are appointed only for the lower grade jobs, not for the officer jobs. Because of this reason, according to Lord Cornwallis, he said that all the native Hindustans are completely corrupt, right? They are not able to become an officer. They are not able to become an officer. They are eligible to become only for a clerk or peon or sweeper, etc. Okay, about civil service, these are the major information. Next, we have to move to judicial service or system introduced by British in India, that we will discuss in the next class. Thank you.